Have you dismissed this watch because you think the 44mm case is too big? Why does the Bulova Snorkel wear so well? Looks like a UFO, doesn't it? So is it iconic? Yeah. Is it true that almost nobody you know will have one? Yeah. Is it affordable? Fairly. Alright, so it's a micro brand. Only a micro brand would take this sort of risk. No. You know, if you want your graffiti to travel the country, put it on the side of a train. I don't recommend that, obviously. Have you ever browsed and then skipped past the Bulova Devil Diver because you thought, nah, 44mm case is too big for me? How does this watch wear so well when on the face of it, those dimensions, you would think it was just far too big? This is the full-size version. This is the 44mm. There's no denying that if you wanted a quirky diver, something quite unique, then few come close to the Bulova at this price level. Why is it called a Snorkel? Well, this is one watch that has multiple names. The official name is the Oceanographer, as you may well know. The design basically unchanged for decades, and also referred to as the Snorkel or the Devil Diver. Devil Diver because it's 666 feet of water resistance, but let's face it, any watch with 200 meters of water resistance is 666 feet, because, you know, 3.333 feet to a meter, 200 meters, 666 feet. My wrist is 18.5 centimeters, 7.4 inches, and this is how it wears. Well, let me give you these dimensions. That's a 44mm case. It's 46 lug to lug, and it's 15mm thick. I wouldn't say that is too big at all. And by the way, it feels less bulky and less cumbersome than the Sumo I had. Now, there's a number of reasons for that. Let's put it this way. I hardly feel it on. September's a nice time to record, isn't it? Not too hot. All the kids back at school. There are at least two key reasons, but two that I'm going to focus on, why this watch wears so well and so comfortably. There are many more, but I think there's, having lived with this watch, I think there's two that I would focus on. Oh, it looks good in that light, doesn't it? I will be adding this watch to my mid-range diver challenge, the playlist I have on my channel that is devoted to finding those dive watch iconic gems between 500 and £1,000. Just seen a sparrowhawk. I wasn't quite quick enough to get it on camera. Looking at the basic dimensions, would do, it is true, have a 44mm case. And the watch is 15mm thick. But just look at that case shape. The first trick that the Bulova pulls off is its extremely short lug to lug. At 46mm, this chunky diver has a shorter lug to lug than a lot of modern dress watches. And that is a real attribute in its favour. I would say this watch will wear very comfortably for anybody with a wrist size of 16 centimeters or more. So that is, my wrist is 7.4 inches. I would say 6¼ inches or more. What about the weight? What about the weight? Diver, chunky diver on a bracelet. Oh, hold on. This watch isn't heavy. When you've worn a sumo or a steel dive, this watch, it's light. You hardly feel it. It's amazing what they've pulled off. Which brings me to the other key feature, and that is the presidential style bracelet. Cheeky little bugger. If you're used to Seikos, believe me, this bracelet is a cut above. Some attention to detail that you only realise once you start wearing it. Each one of those links is an individual link, so there's 5 separate links there that you have to line up when you're adjusting it and putting the pins in. A brushed centre link, a clasp standard, but that bracelet, because they're all individual links and they're quite small links, it just moulds to the shape of your wrist. It's enjoyable to wear, you know. Doesn't look too big there at all, does it? In fact, made to measure, really. Let's check the lume. And that does last through the night as well. It's a bit of a talking point, this watch, isn't it? Only enthusiasts would go for this, I would think. The way the light plays on there, across the bezel, the crystal. That is a sapphire crystal. Scratch resistant. So what are we going to call it? The Devil Diver? Or the Snorkel? Let's call it the Snorkel. As well as how it wears, don't forget that there are other features that make this watch stand out. Those indices that are basically tubes of crystal with lume coming through at the bottom, as well as the crosshairs on the dial, the cyclops that is actually underneath the crystal. So the crystal surface is a smooth dome and the cyclops is underneath there. Chrome edging, stainless edging to the date window, and extremely legible simple hands. Some commentators have said that the Bulova logo looks a bit cheap. I quite like it. I think it's retro, it's applied. I don't have a problem with that. It does catch the light. Screw down signed crown. GBRF, Great British Freight, Great British Rail Freight. Love the graffiti. You know, if you want your graffiti to travel the country, put it on the side of a train. I don't recommend that, obviously. Got to be careful what you say on social media, haven't you? It's one of those watches that I sometimes forget I have. And as soon as I put it on, I think, oh, I'll just remember why I was quite intrigued by it. So the Devil Diver, the Bulova Snorkel Oceanographer. It's available in all sorts of colorways. There's a black still available with a red section to the bezel. There's this green. There's blue and yellow. Vintage models. This is the full-size version, 44mm. There are smaller versions available to cater for smaller wrists. You know, as a watch reviewer, I am fairly chuffed that I've got quite a large wrist, but don't be put off by the 44mm. If you've got a wrist 16 centimeters and above, I would say. This watch will wear well. I think it wears fairly small on my wrist, and the height doesn't interfere with anything. 15 mil, the height. But that's a dream on the wrist, and believe me, it feels quite light. It's a pity it hadn't started raining. I could have tested the water resistance. The price of the Oceanographer, it isn't the cheapest. Now in this country, retail around £695, about $800. Plenty available on the used market. They tend to settle at around £280 to £450. So what's that? $350 to $600 pre-owned. And for that, you are getting a good package. The main downside would be the movement. It's the basic 8 series Miyota movement, which depends how you look at it. It has everything you'd want: hacking, hand winding. It's not particularly high beat, not hugely accurate. A little bit unfair that. I generally find Miyota movements to be very well regulated. So there you go, that's my take on the Bulova Snorkel Devil Diver. What do you think? It's certainly unique, isn't it? And it has heritage, a classic old design. And watching this video, the colours do change with the light, so it's never dull, the Devil Diver. Huge credit must go to Bulova for that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.